How's it going, guys? Today I'm showing you how to make analog sounding pads like Bicep. We're going to be making a pad similar to that one in Saku. Here's a preview of the pad we're going to be making from scratch in Serum. So if you first have a look at the MIDI, we're in the key of A sharp minor and the chords are really simple. So all we have is a fifth, so A sharp, and that would be up, a third, a fifth, and then a third as well. But then that third has been pitched up an octave, so it's up here. So really this should sound like this. As you can hear, it's lacking in high end. So if you get that third and you pitch it up an octave, it really feels like those frequencies. I always do this in my tracks, and if we have a look at the note that follows it, I mean, again, it's pretty simple. So a third, fifth, and a sixth. So we've got the sixth here, and then that would sound like this, which is good, but still, again, it's lacking in top end. So we just get this root note, the B, and we push it up. Same thing follows here. All we've got is a C, so then we've got a third, and then we've just pushed this root note up another octave to fill out the high end, and then as you look, it just repeats itself. So yeah, pretty simple chords, guys, but they do sound good when you've got the right synth in it. Great, so the preset we're looking at today is actually a preset from my ukgarage Volume 4 pack. You can get that from the link in the description. The pack has over 65 insane presets for making ukgarage just like Over Mono, Bicep, and Ross from Friends. Check it out while it's still on sale. Also, in case you haven't seen, I'm running a competition this month. The competition is for whoever can make the best track using a preset from this pack. You can also use a sample or loop from ukgarage Volume 3 drums pack. To submit a song, all you've got to do is send me the SoundCloud link on Instagram, and you've got until the end of July. I'll be announcing the winner in the first week of August. Now let's move on to the sound design. Great, so now let's dive into Serum. It's quite a complicated preset, so I can't guarantee it's going to sound 100% like the one from my pack, but we're going to get you there as close as possible. You're going to learn a few things along the way about sound design. So let's start oscillator A, analog, Juno. The reason we're selecting Juno is that they're always using a Juno 106, and this is the wavetable from that. So this would be the square, so it's going to sound like this. But we want a saw wave. So let's bang that into a saw wave. Okay, and what we're also going to add is a noise. So we want the same thing, analog JP60, or we could add the J106. Both of these are Juno, so let's just go for the J60. We also pitched it up a bit. Leave it about there. On its own, it's just white noise. That's the white noise sampled from the Juno synth. Let's then turn on the filter so you can hear what the filter's doing. MG Low 24. The reason it's so fuzzy is we've not selected the noise, so let's also do B, noise, and sub. Great. Oscillator B. Let's then go to digital and add harmonic subtle. So this is just adding some more harmonies. Helps to fill out the sort of frequencies. Bring that down a little bit. And now we've got that. So this is where the main sound is coming from. We've now got to sculpt that sound into the pad that we want. So as you can hear, it's quite mono, but we're going to change that with effects. So let's go to envelope 1, which is the amplitude envelope. So this is, amplitude is volume, so how loud a sound is, and it sort of goes down in that. So if I was to make it this shape, it's going to start loud and get quieter. If I was to make it this shape, it's going to start quiet and get loud. It's really that simple. So let's add a little bit of attack, otherwise you're going to have a sort of a click sound where the initial loud sound is hitting. So let's put an attack of about 30, And then let's bring it down. And then let's add a bit of release. Bring it up a little bit more sustain. Sustain is sort of how long it's going to stay loud for. So like, the higher up, the more sustain, less sustain. And what we can then do is go to envelope 2, which is we're going to connect to the filter. So let's just firstly connect it. So you grab this little arrow thing, you drag that on there. Let's bring this back. Let's bring it something like that. And we want to make a similar sort of shape. So nice bit of attack. Just pull that up. Something like that sounds good. Bring it down a little bit. Let's bring the filter cutoff up so you can hear what it's doing. Great, now we've got that, we can move on to the velocity. So a lot of people don't often do this. This is quite, I'd say, a middle to advanced sort of trick. But you can put this velocity on sort of anything you want. And depending on how hard the note is played, it's going to basically open up that filter. You can also do it with the note. So the higher up the note, the more the filter's going to open up, etc. But yeah, with this velocity, you can get some cool effects. So if we drag it onto the decay, we can drag it onto the cutoff. Just makes it a bit more, that initial hit, a bit more impactful. We leave it like that. Because don't forget, this is also the envelope for this filter. So me putting that on that is also going to open up the filter. So you don't want to open it too much on the filter itself. I hope that makes sense. What we can then move on to is making it sound more analog. So there's a few ways to do this. But yeah, let's start with this way. And so if you go to Bicep, we can go for the saw up. This is going to look like this, so it's going up. We can then shape this. So if you click it, unclick it. If you click it, it's going to make that. And then you can sort of curve it. So you can make it like an upright pattern. And we can drag this on the fine tune of the synth. So let's start with A. That's way too detuned. So let's bring it back a bit. Bring it down. It's sort of too quick, so let's go and we change it from BPM and change it to rate. .7 sounds good. You sort of choose how quickly you want it to detune. 1.7, let's stick with that. We can then drag this same LFO on the fine tune of B. You can obviously leave that if you want. It's optional. You can also change the wavetail position and we morph to that. So morph. It's all these small little parameters that make every sort of pad and synth unique. So look, so many different things you've changed. If you change the amount, it's going to change the sound completely. That's why I said at the start, we're never going to get exactly like the preset, but it's sort of that makes the character and makes it individual. So if we now have a look at the effects, let's focus on making it a bit wider. As you can hear, it's quite thin. So for this, we're going to need a chorus. So you might as well click them all. Let's go for a flanger. and a reverb. We can then just use a macro if you want. So if you drag them all, actually you might as well do them in first. Right, so if we go to chorus, let's start with that, put it at the top. Dial them all in. So it's making it wider. Flanger. Similar. And a bit of reverb. Take out some of the high, bring in some of the high end, because it's got a high cut at the moment. Take out some of the low end. Bring that decay up maybe. I mean, what you can do is obviously grab macro, and if you bring them down, you can obviously bring this up. So if you're like playing live or anything like that, you can bring it up and really alter the sound on the fly. You can dial these in, so let's maybe bring that back. Great, so we can also go to the filter and put a macro on that. So maybe bring that down. Of course, there's so many different parameters, you could spend all day tweaking it, but once you get something you like, then just stick with it, and you can always come back later and change it if you want. But sometimes you can spend too much time doing the sound design, and when you should just be sort of writing the track itself. Great, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you next time. Cheers.